Sorry about that. I'm trying to get some stuff together. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Felita, how are you? Good to see you. Well, thank you so much for coming in. We're going to talk about our Joy Zappers number 2. Oh, I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much. My name is Felicia Givens, and I am your number 1 Joy Jewel. I'm here to talk about joy, here to spread the joy with everyone, teaching you, first of all, what joy is all about, and combating those things that take away from your joy. So if you come in, I'd like for you to, I'd like for you to share and give me some hearts. Let me know that you're there. And please comment also. It helps me to know that you're engaged in what I'm saying, and that it's actually helping you. So again, let's talk a little bit about joy today. As you know, I've always talked about the fact that joy is an amazing thing. It's in the beginning, I kind of felt like it might not be as a strong thing, but as I've gone on, I've come to find out that actually walking out this place of joy, it is very, very helpful in our walk with Christ. It really helps us out. See, someone is saying something. Hold on one moment. Hey, Barbara, how are you? So yeah, it helps us in our walk with Christ, and we really want to again just begin to grab hold of joy. The Bible tells us that the joy of the Lord is our strength, and having His joy, because it's not ours, which again it's an amazing thing. It's not even our joy; it is His joy that causes us to be able to stand upright and to have the strength that we need for every situation in our lives. So we want to make sure that we again are cultivating that joy. And that being said, if you have not joined our movement, I would like for you to go out to bit.ly cultivating joy, bit.ly cultivating joy, and that way you can become a part of our movement, and you become a part of the movement, and you'll get your 7 ways to cultivate joy. Hey, Sister Gwen, how are you? Thank you for coming in. So again, here we go. I'm going to kind of bring us up to date on what we talked about on Monday, and we talked about 6 things that will actually take away from your joy. And those 6 things are this: complaining, procrastination, gossip, approval seeking, not keeping your word, and negative talk. Now we have 5 more that we're going to talk about tonight. And these are things that will zap your joy. And at the end of it, we're going to talk about maybe one thing that will actually help you to keep your joy. Attachment to circumstances. The Bible tells us that the joy of the Lord is our strength, which I just said, and not the joy of our circumstances. We have to learn how to detach from circumstances and handle change with finesse. So how many of us mothers, grandmothers, wives, just those of us who even work our jobs, if we keep ourselves attached to the circumstances of things that are around us, we live in that place of that circumstance, and we're not able actually to move forward. We're not able to grab hold of the joy that God has for us. So we want to make sure that we're not attaching ourselves to circumstances, because those circumstances, whether sometimes they're good or bad, we can't hold on to them, because unfortunately, even if our circumstance is good, it can change. And when that circumstance changes, then there goes your joy right out the window. So what we have to do is to begin to cultivate that joy on the inside of us, And once we've done that, it's there all the time. We're able to pull from it because we've cultivated it. So that we really want to make sure that we are not attaching ourselves to any circumstance. Living in the past. I'm sure many of us have had to deal with things that have gone on in our lives, and we don't. We sometimes we stay back there. We stay in those situations. To me, that's another circumstance. But you're living in the past. You're living in your past divorce. Come on now. When many of us who have been divorced or have had long-term relationships, and when we find ourselves out of those relationships, sometimes we just want to stay living in those things, and that's not a good thing either. We want to let those things go. Look, I can tell you, I'm a woman that has been divorced twice. And because I've been divorced twice, I really know that, I don't have to live in my past, whether it was a good marriage or a bad marriage, whether he was good or whether he was bad, whether I was good or whether I was bad, regardless of the circumstance, I do not have to live in the past. Hi, Shalisa. Thank you so much for coming in. Again, please make sure that you are sharing the broadcast. Sharing is caring. Give me some hearts. Let me know that you're there. So again, yes, like I said, because I have been divorced twice, I had to really learn how to let go of the past. And that can be a difficult thing, actually, especially when you really love the person. Even if there was a brokenness in that relationship, you also get to that place where you almost feel like maybe you did something wrong, or you weren't everything that you could have been. Sometimes you may blame yourself for that situation, but you have to come out of that. Out of the past, you learn how to, first of all, love yourself. You learn how to begin to grab hold of the destiny and the purpose that God has for you. And I promise you, in that circumstance, you can actually walk out of the past and begin to walk in your future. It is so important for us to do that. The third thing is fear of the future. How many of us have a fear of the future? How many of us feel like, next week I may not have money? My granddaughter's over here with her hand up. You may not have money to get to pay a bill. You may not have money for the family reunion that's going to be going on. You may have a fear of, look, you know what, I'm not going to be able to accomplish everything that I said that I would accomplish. So I have a fear of the future. You may even have a fear of success. How many of us have that? I mean, you have this greatness on the inside of you, but because everybody else in your family is kind of just living on the cup, so to speak, but God has given you this great thing on the inside of you that's going to bring you this amazing financial increase. But you say to yourself, if I become rich, if I become well off, then my family's going to talk about me. Nobody's going to want to be around me. I'm living in the suburbs and everybody else is living in the hood. I have a fear of that. Well, I'm here to tell you, when you begin to embrace joy, that fear will begin to dissipate. I can say that again from personal experience. I haven't arrived yet, but in my mind, I have arrived. And let me tell you something. Once it's in your mind and you have come to that place, hey, I promise you the rest is gravy, okay? So again, you want to not have fear of living, of the future. You don't want that. And our last thing that keeps us from actually embracing joy is prayerlessness. If we don't have a strong prayer life, And we're actively tapping into the joy that God has for us daily, because he releases that joy. Even the scriptures tell us that his mercies are new every morning. So in that mercy, there's joy, there's love, there's hope, there's peace. All of those things are encompassed in that mercy. So when we don't have a prayer life, when we're not believing God for the greatness, when we're not believing God for change, when we're not believing God for just that strength that we need for the day ahead, then we no longer have the ability to pull from the joy that he has. So we want to make sure that these 5 things, we don't want these in our lives. We want to be able to tap into the joy of the Lord. And I'm going to go over those one more time. Attachment to circumstances can zap your joy. Living in the past can zap your joy. Fear of the future can zap your joy. And prayerlessness can zap your joy. Now, what can give you joy? I promise you, the one thing I know for sure that will give you joy is just beginning to praise him. Just beginning to praise him. Whether your praise is in a song, whether your praise is in a clap, whether your praise is just lifting up your hands, whatever that praise is, you begin to praise him. And as you do that, the joy of the Lord will begin to bubble up on the inside of you. It will begin to take you over. I promise you it will. That's the way to keep your joy up. Of course, praying, even as we just said, praying will definitely keep your joy up. Hi, Apostle Long. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, so making sure that we keep those things, keeping the joy of the Lord as a part of our life, and singing and praising and worshiping. Those things cause your joy bank, as I say it, your joy bank to become full. And you want your joy bank to be full. You want it to be full to the overflow. And why do you want it to be full and to the overflow? Because as you walk in joy, then what happens is that joy, because it's overflowing, it's going to touch the next person. And when that joy begins to touch the next person, then it affects them, and that affects another person, and it affects another person. It becomes like a domino effect. And you want to be walking in that joy, just because that's what people begin to look at. Hey, Cousin Red, how are you? Thank you for coming in. Yeah, you want to be able to affect other people's lives. And that's how we affect other people's lives, is through walking in the joy of the Lord. So again, I just want to thank each and every one of you really for coming in on today. Please make sure that you do share the broadcast with your friends and your family. I'm well. It's you're good too. I'm so glad you are. Everything is going well. Are you healing well? I want to know if you're healing well, Cousin Red. Let me know how everything is going with you, because I know it's a difficult time. And if you know that it's been a year today that Daddy has gone on. Yeah, it's been a year today, and so I'm not putting it on Facebook or anything like that. But it's been a year since Pops has been gone, and so I understand the pain that you have to go through, but I also understand, like I said before, God is such a healer. I'm glad you're much better. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. So again, guys, I really want you to begin to cultivate that joy by going out to bit.ly/cultivating joy to join up and get your 7 ways to cultivate joy. I also have put together 31 days of joy declarations. You can pick that up at bit.ly/31 joy declarations. And I'm going to put those things in the comments so that you can pick those up at your convenience. But for those of you who are going to be up tonight at midnight Central Standard Time. I will be back on. I'm going through 31 days of joy declarations. At midnight, we're crossing over. I'm praying, and it's going to probably be audio only, but because that's what I've been doing. But I want you to come in and make sure that you share that. And if you don't catch me at midnight, when you wake up in the morning, catch the prayer time, because it is important that we are praying into our next day. You know, we want to make sure that we're doing that. And tonight, I don't know how many of you actually follow the Jewish calendar, but tonight is the beginning of the Feast of Tabernacles for the Jewish people. So I'm actually going to talk a little bit about that tonight at midnight. So I would love for you to come in at midnight and find out a little bit more about the Jewish find out about the Jewish celebration. It is an amazing time. Hi, how are you? It is an amazing time to just celebrate. If you don't know anything about the Jewish people, the one thing they know how to do is celebrate. And actually, the Feast of Tabernacles is also called the time of joy. So how wonderful is that God had me to begin 31 days of declarations in the month of October, and during the time of the Feast of the Tabernacles, which is again a time of joy for the Jewish people. So again, I really want you guys to come back if you're able to and check that out. I know you're going to enjoy it. I just can't wait to begin to talk about the Feast of Tabernacles, because I think it's just a wonderful celebration. But again, I just thank you again for coming in. And please, again, make sure that you share, make sure that you like, and you guys have a wonderful evening. I will see you again on this broadcast on Friday at 9:30. I may be a little late because I know I have a meeting at church, but I will be back. I will make sure that I am on Friday night. So thank you again for coming in. I appreciate your support, and I will talk to you soon. God bless.